What is your "I don't get paid enough for this shit" moment? Being told that I ruined a woman's Christmas because the supermarket I worked at was out of brandy-infused marmalade. When I was 18 and working at a retail store, a baby in his mother's arms took a shit so massive that his diaper couldn't contain it. A bunch ended up on the floor, and the mother ran away. I was not paid enough for that little shit. I worked for a small college. The president's secretary thought that most things were above her pay grade, and at one of the busiest times of the year for my office decided that I should put in 80+ hours to clean her data and get something she needed done. After getting it finished, she decided that she wanted the whole thing changed. I broke down. I went to the doctor in the midst of a full-blown panic attack and was given a note for 2 weeks off work, which meant they had to use what I did or do it themselves. I came back to work and resigned. I used to be a counselor at a methadone clinic. Had a client who was going to prison for slitting the throats of his ex-wife's beloved Rottweilers because I couldn't kill her, and it was the best way to hurt her. The day he was supposed to go to prison, he showed up at the clinic after closing hours, demanding his dose. He was no longer on the clinic, so legally there was no way to do this. I stood behind the counter and tried to explain the situation to him. He grew more and more irate, and then called his lawyer and put me on the phone with him. His lawyer explained, dude didn't show up for prison, was now a fugitive, and had pulled a knife on his own sister in her car just outside my clinic. So, dude had a knife. Lawyer told me not to piss dude off. He was violent and to call the cops. By this point, every other therapist and office worker had moseyed the F out, so I told the lawyer thanks, hung up the phone, and moseyed the F out of the front office and called the cops from the break room. Dude hopped over the counter and trashed the place and left. The bosses asked why I didn't stay and make sure he didn't trash the place. I explained they paid me $10.50 an hour and refused my raise. I was the only man in the building and was left alone with an armed violent felon. F their stuff. I worked at Blockbuster in college for chump change. A bunch of dudes shoplifted the F out of us, and when me and the other guy confronted them about it, they ran out of the door. District manager asked why I didn't put myself between them and the door to protect the merchandise. I told them for minimum wage, I'm not putting myself in danger to keep a giant corporation from losing some Twizzlers. And a copy of Friday and Armageddon. After 4 months of not seeing my family because I was working full-time and only getting 1 day off a week, I finally quit without notice when they were gonna make me close last Thanksgiving. I had already requested and approved the day off a month prior. I left and never came back. The GM even tried pulling the "you can't quit, you're fired" ha. Manager at a grocery store I worked in my teens refused to pay the waste management bill for several months. When they finally came and emptied the dumpster, there were still mounds of trash laying about around the area. He had me go out and clean all of it up alone. I didn't have any protective gear or supplies whatsoever, and was out in 100+ degree weather. I was only given a bunch of trash bags to put it into, and when I went in to ask for help, I was just given a shovel. I worked one more day after that, and after just being given more work to do without so much as a "good job" or "thanks," I never went back. I used to work at Old Country Buffet, and there were kids who would eat until they threw up, like all the time. This one case that is seared into my mind was when I was once fixing up the salad bar, and I heard "Billy, run!" screamed from an ignorant parent, and then I see this 12-ish-year-old boy running to the bathroom. Only he didn't make it. An unholy amount of undigested red Jell-O came exploded out of him like a effing volcano all over the Caesar salad, the floor next to the cash register, and on about 5 or 6 diners waiting in line to get in. It looked like he had literally vomited his guts out in an arc about 10 feet in diameter. I had to sweep up the chunks with a broom until a dishwasher with a mop could take care of the rest. I used to be a plumber. An owner of a mobile home called and said they had a stinky yard. I could smell it when I pulled up. The mobile home was new and had only been set up for about 8 months. While setting it up, someone didn't tighten a no-hub band on the toilet in the kids' bathroom. 8 months of flush toilet was all over the ground under the home and had just started being noticed outside. I told the homeowner to call the guys that set it up to come fix it. I wasn't crawling under there. I work with those who have physical and mental disabilities. I was giving the client some time alone in their room when I heard a screeching sound. I leap up and open the door, and found they had their pants down, penis erect, and a very pissed off cat. Running out the door, they no longer owned that cat. When a thick stream of sweat drained out of this girl's cell phone case, I had to explain to her that her phone had water damage and that she shouldn't work out with her phone in her bra, all the while trying to be professional and not gag while cleaning the mess. I sold phones at Sprint. When I was a 911 telecommunicator, taking all those suicide calls, domestics with children, medical calls, people dying, officers getting shot, etc., did it for 16 years. Before enough was enough. I worked at a heating and air conditioning company, doing bookkeeping. I was being trained by the company's accountant. If I made a mistake, the owner would literally scream at me full voice. I overheard him talking to his brother, and his brother had told him not to scream at me. The owner said, "You have to tear them down to build them up." I decided I wasn't going to take another day of his screaming after that. I ran the entire company's financials and general management for $14 per hour. I had a meeting with the owner, telling him I need a raise and to hire an assistant. He told me I wasn't business-minded and should be a stay-at-home mom. I quit the next day. Bagging groceries at a major supermarket. The manager came over to tell me that I needed to clean up the bathroom. An elderly gentleman fell off the toilet while pooping and it was a little shit show. Apparently, I was the most qualified because I was 16. I was handed a broom and a dustpan. I shit you not, sorry. Had to. My reward for going above and beyond the call of duty? $5 in store coupons. Sometimes dreams really do come true. First day at the health department. I'm left at the reception desk alone, while literally everyone else in the office went out to a farewell lunch for the person I was replacing. As I was on a 90-day probation, wasn't yet licensed and badged, my pay was $7.96 per hour. I'm sitting at reception, and some redneck comes in with a leaking garbage bag and drops it on my desk. It contains a newly beheaded javelina head. His buddy had been bitten, and it needed to be tested for rabies ASAP. I had no effing clue what to do with a leaking garbage bag of javelina head. He couldn't wait for others to return, so he left a number and split. Turns out, we don't do that sort of thing at the health department. Guy refused to come back. Worked at a retail store. Friends would come in occasionally looking to steal shit, and the worst we could do legally was ask them to leave. But my boss insisted we get physical with them, to which I obviously told her, no. I watched her chase one out of the store one day, and she screams at me since. I'm standing by the door like, tackle him. And I'm like, oh no. Laughing my ass off. My dad was working at Walmart as a door greeter when he was 75 years old. He walked off the job after getting yelled at for not tackling a 16-year-old shoplifter. Thanks for watching Reddit Hero. Like and subscribe for more amazing Reddit stories. Also don't forget to share these stories with your family and friends. Click a video below to continue watching our previous Reddit stories.